From Tally to Cali.
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
R-O-C-H. Mentally.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, it's a mailbag. We got lots to talk about. Rank the best programs in Florida State in their totality. What's Luke doing on the NIL trail? What if we had the CFP during the BCS? Where would these conferences be? And we're generating discussion sparked by Cummins. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it. Take it. Sip the juice, everybody. I want to do one live show one time, Corey, where I get on the stage. I'm like, welcome, everybody, to a live edition of Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. Shake it.
The place goes nuts. Oh,
hold the microphone out there like, take it.
Yeah.
That's right. Go to VitaminEnergy.com. It's energy with benefits, 7 hours of energy, nourishing your body, also providing you with a healthy gut, not that big blood. You're not having to take down 16-ounce carbonated beverage, everybody. This is a less than 2-ounce shot. I'm still taking less than about a half a shot. Gets me through the day, gets me feeling good. Immune response perked up, strong. Try out the Focus Tropical Infusion Extra Strength variety, everybody. It's in the red bottle. It's got nutrients like leucine, Aslan. Learn how to say it, jerk. As well as coenzyme Q10. So get on it, everybody. Go to vitaminenergy.com. Go to warchant.com. Spring sale still up, $52 for an entire year of access to warchant.com. Premium stuff, travel council, premium recruiting board. Hop on over on the Florida message board. Read what they're talking about. Read what's going on over at Kane Sport. Ohio State's message boards. Sure, it's all fair game when you join. And we'll throw that $20 gift card your way. The $20 gift card valid at Garnet and Gold. Get you everything you could possibly want. Corey Clark's in the house. He probably wants a new co-host every now and then. But, hey, I'm here still, surviving. Coming up on season 7, I think, big dog, of us doing this thing. Can you believe it?
I can't. 7, wouldn't it? I guess it would be 7, wouldn't it? 7 full years of doing this. How about that?
Amazing.
We'd be in like the second grade right now if we were a kid.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff, buddy. And no, I'd never want another co-host. Are you crazy?
You're so nice. Hey,
I want my own show. I don't have to deal with this at all, everyone. You understand what I'm saying, everyone out there? I want my own show where I can just riff, like Bill Burr's podcast, where he just talks to himself for an hour.
I heard a rumor that you ran 5 miles on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll do that probably once a week. I'll go to Orange Theory and I'll go to the Tread 50 and just run for. It's really about 45 minutes. I'll just run anywhere from 5 to 6 miles. Yeah, yep. And what I do, because, they're younger trainers at Orange Theory, and they kind of play their own. I mean, it's a playlist from Orange Theory corporate, but it skews younger.
Okay.
So what Daddy does is I just bring in my AirPods and listen to old person music.
Uh-huh.
I got my Pearl Jam. I got my Foo Fighters. I got Jay-Z.
Oh,
I got
nice.
stuff to get me through my own paces, so I don't have to listen to Lil Uzi Vert or whatever they're playing, Sexy Red, whatever they're playing at Orange Theory. I'm running to something else. But yeah, man, I'm a beast. I don't know how else to say it.
Reasonable Doubt guy or Hard Knock Life Jay-Z era or Blueprint era.
Well, more it's 3 Jay-Z songs.
Okay.
Hard Knock Life is one of them.
Nice.
And then 99 Problems is the one I listen to the most. Yeah.
Naturally. Speaking of the gym, our guy random_John says he's officially been back at it for 90 days. Said he repped 225 on the bench. Says he leg pressed 737 pounds. So yeah, the comeback tour in full swing.
Nice.
I'm gonna need some video. I'm sorry, 737, and that's like 8 plates per side or something. That's absurd.
I would say this though, that I saw Brady on Sunday just randomly. We went to the gym together, and he did not get up 225. He got up 205.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, it's
hell
something.
yeah, Brady.
But he weighs 165, so that's good.
Good
and
Lord,
then,
yeah, man.
On the leg press, he had 5 plates on each side, and seemed to do it pretty easily. Like it wasn't like he was stressing. Now he's got strong legs, but I wouldn't throw. I saw one of my buddies go over 800 with the leg press. So I think it's just something people don't do a lot. Remember Pat Robertson? The televangelist, leg pressed like over 1,000 pounds, and he said it was the world record. It's just I don't think it's an exercise that many people do. But I like Brady doing it because he's not good at the squat because of his back issues. So we do the leg press a little bit. Anyway, that's too much about that. But way to go, random_John.
We'll take his question in a little bit. Let's go first in, first out with the mailbag. Another reminder, too, as well. They'll be practicing this afternoon. Corey and I will be doing a live show once we get back from interviews after that tonight. So I don't know. We're going to say, tentatively 8 p.m., Corey?
Let's try to make it 7:45. There's basketball to be watched. Well, there's basketball to be watched.
Okay, no, I'm good. I like,
I like
your
Sweet
ambition.
16.
I like your ambition. We're going to start with our guy, S-Quinn67. Great win over Florida on Tuesday night. Listen to Lulu on the call while I was traveling in Virginia. If you didn't hear his call, you should all give it a listen. Sounds like the Warchant coach speak translation skills are back up to full speed for spring football. We appreciate the amount of quality info you are providing. He's got 2 questions for us, Corey. Lists, historical ones. Question 1. How would you rank the FSU sports programs in their totality against each other in a top 5? He would say, like, maybe example, football's number 1, women's soccer number 2. Second question, who are your top 5 FSU head coaches of all time?
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, I would say just off the rip, I would think football because it's been more relevant longer. I know it's had more down years here lately, but just 2 years ago they were undefeated and finished top 10 2 years in a row, and then they started this thing in 1979. Really, so it's been relevant, nationally relevant for 45 years, and has won 3 national championships and 16 ACC championships. So I would say that's number 1. But soccer's really close, man. Like, what they've done the last 20 years is pretty darn remarkable. I mean, you could make an argument they've been the best program in the country for the last 20 years. They've won 4 national championships. They were, I think, about 2 minutes away during one of those COVID years from a 5th national championship. They made the final game 3 other times and won 4 of them. So I would say, soccer's number 2, right? And then I don't know, man. I guess softball. I guess softball because they've got 3 national championships.
Well, we're counting the one in the 80s?
Hey, man, that counts. It was slow pitch, I think, but it counts. It was the other teams around the country were competing, and they won. If we're not counting the 80s, which I think we should, if we're just saying fast pitch softball, then I know they've won the national championship, but I would put baseball ahead of softball. You know what I mean? I know baseball hasn't won out in Omaha, but baseball has been really they won 40 games in a row for 40 straight years or whatever it was, and have been out to Omaha 22 times, and they don't have the one. So softball did get the one, but, it hasn't been fast pitch. They haven't been one of the top 10 programs in the country for the last 4 decades.
Correct.
But they have been for the last 10. And they won national championships before that, back in the 80s when it was slow pitch. But that's a different sport.
Yes.
It's a different sport. It's slow pitch softball. Fast pitch is a whole different ball game. So, wouldn't you say, so we think football 1, soccer 2, baseball 3?
Correct. Softball 4, then what do we throw in 5?
I mean, track won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And almost won a couple other ones after Walter Dix. Yeah. But hasn't been really all that relevant in a decade, essentially. They were still good back in the 80s, though, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost want a debate for baseball to be 2. Because I don't know, when he says in totality, I mean, you have one of the greatest college players of all time in J.D. Drew. You've also produced Buster Posey, who's probably a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame, yeah.
Well,
they're both college baseball Hall of Famers, if nothing else. J.D. Drew literally is the best, maybe the best player that's ever played college baseball. Yeah. Him or Lodis. And then Buster's going to make the Hall of Fame, and Buster was incredible in college, too. I think, though, Aslan, you could make the argument. We don't know their names as well, but I would think in the last 2 decades, Florida State would have 15 people, women, that would qualify to be in the College Soccer Hall of Fame. They've had All-American after All-American after All-American. They have people on the national team. There's not as much notoriety that comes with playing college softball as they're playing college baseball and then being a number 1 pick in the draft. But yeah, man, I think the 4 national championships ring out. Yeah, I think those matter.
Okay, so top 5 head coaches of all time, is Jimbo on the list? I mean, obviously,
let's knock him out of the way. So Bowden, Martin for sure.
Yeah.
I think you got to throw Krikorian in there.
Yeah.
Lonnie in there.
Yeah.
So then Bob Brayman, although it's track, it's like he was a distance coach is more than a sprints coach, and they won mainly because of their sprints.
We need like a round robin for that 5th spot, like Leonard, Brayman, Trey Jones,
Sue Semrau,
and Jimbo.
I mean, Jimbo did win a national title and authored a 29-game winning streak.
Yeah.
Won 3 straight ACC championships.
Yeah.
Made 5 straight New Year's. Yeah, I'll go with Jimbo.
Went like 16-3 or something against Florida and Miami. Maybe that's exaggerated, but something around there.
I think the mark against Jimbo is that he was only here for 8 years as the head coach. All those other people we're mentioning were here for decades.
Right.
So when you take the totality of their careers, it's it would be nice if Trey Jones would win one.
Mm.
Trey, you've had great players and you've had a great program. If he could just and they made it to the finals last year in that match play for the national championship. If they could just get over the hump and win one, I think he's probably your 5th. Yeah. But I don't know that you can trump a guy that won a national championship in the most important sport. Wow. So I hate leaving Leonard off. Hugh Durham, but I don't think he was the coach long enough maybe at basketball. So, yeah, or Pat Kennedy even. I just think that national championships, we weight them very, very heavily. And with that said, yeah, let's throw Jimbo on there.
Oh, man, overwhelmed with emotion. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man, that's for you, dog.
Validation.
That's for you. I wonder where he ranks on all-time great Texas A&M coaches in their illustrious history.
I was trying to think the other day, has anyone's star crashed as quickly as his that did not fall prey to some sort of scandal?
I would say the guy coaching Florida State right now.
Touche.
Well, but Jeff and I we were talking about that on headlines. Like he couldn't think of somebody else's star that he phrased it differently that came crashing down as quickly as Norvell to go from 13-0 in a 19-game winning streak to 2-10 with no like horrible injury luck, no like mass. There was no mass outbreak of the measles.
Yeah.
Just horrible evaluation and not good development, all on his watch. Basically like.
Was like our major benefactor filed for bankruptcy and he didn't have the money to compete too. You know,
right.
No explanation.
There was no excuse and no rational explanation. So that being said, Norvell still has time to untarnish what's been tarnished. But yeah, man, last year was as quick a downfall in perception of a coach's ability as I would think I've ever seen. I don't know if they're for again, not because of a scandal off the field or just complete meltdown from the head coach and what his program became from one year to the next. So I would say he and Jimbo are right there, though. I mean, Jimbo. Think about Jimbo's last year at Florida State. He was 5-6 when he left.
Yeah,
and then what he did at A&M, he had one good season. I mean, for A&M, one good season, like a top 10 finish in 7 years. And then got fired because he had like one of the 20 worst offenses in the country. That's after being a national championship head coach that won 29 straight games.
Yeah. Wow, shoot. That might have been the question that generates the most discussion.
Yeah,
but sorry, Quinn. Let's pick it up on the Norvell aspect of things. Let's go down to Naples. Our guy, M. Adam Ceasy, he's referencing, I think, the aforementioned discussion over on Seminole Headlines about when things could possibly go off the rails for Mike this season. Corey said he would be out if Florida State were to lose at Virginia and Stanford. 100% for me, and I think most of the fan base, I'd be out if we took beatings at home against Bama and Miami before Stanford. That would mean remaining road games at Clemson, at NC State Friday night, and Florida. Or is it a Thursday night against NC State?
I think it's Friday.
Right. And probably a coin flip ACC game against Pitt, Wake, Virginia Tech if the team is reeling. However, I think a solid win at Virginia on a Friday night and a win over Miami at home could spark a successful 2025 season. I still think it comes back to Mike and Gus regaining their magic from their Tulsa offense 20 years ago. Thoughts?
Yeah, so the question was, when would we be out on Norvell? Like, what would have to happen this year for us to say, nope, this isn't it again, and this is too much? And my answer was, like, if they went and lost at Virginia and at Stanford. But
clearly.
I thought
Stanford doesn't have a coach right now.
I thought those games were back-to-back, I'll be honest with you. So at Virginia, after those two warm-up games, So even if you lose to Alabama, even if it's not particularly close, you're going to be 2-1 going to Virginia on a Friday night with essentially you've had 3 weeks to prepare. Yeah. If you go and play that game and lose, I think I'm out then. Now, that doesn't mean I can't be won back. Right. There's 8 more games to win me back. Go win them all. I promise I'll be back on the bandwagon. But I would be almost convinced that he's just not getting it done. There's no excuse. I mean, right now as we sit here in late March, there would be no excuse for losing that game. You have more talent. I know it's a road game and a snake pit known as, what is it?
Carter Finley Stadium?
No, that's NC State.
Oh, Charlotte. Scott Stadium.
Scott Stadium. I wanted to say John Paul Jones Arena, but I know that ain't it. So, yeah, if you go and lose at that place against that program, I mean, you quit losing to inferior ACC teams. You've got more money. You've hired all these coaches. You spent all the money on the roster. Go win that. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. They just lost their quarterback. There's no excuse to lose that game. So go win it. So then you're 3-1 welcoming Miami that first weekend in October. But yeah, if you lose to Miami at home, and then you're 3-2, yeah, I'm not feeling great, but I'm absolutely out if you lose at Virginia.
Yeah, I'm very much about just success for me, I guess, right now is just be in the thick of it in November. So in that vein, I would say if you had a losing streak, if you had consecutive losses before you got to November, I'm out. Like if you lose to Virginia and Miami, or if you lose to Pitt, Stanford, or you lose to Miami and Pitt, I probably would be like, this is just, if you lose to Miami and Pitt, you're at home. Miami's not going to be, I don't think, fantastic shakes. Their quarterback, we don't even know how his arm's going to look right now. Pitt, they got kind of proven as fool's gold as the season wore on last year, and you're at home. And then, yeah, if they lose to Virginia, to your point, like coming off 3 straight weeks and they follow that by losing to Miami, that's going to be tough to dig out of.
I think the question was,
and provided they lost to Alabama, which I think the Alabama win obviously gives you a lot of cologne, cover.
But the question was framed, when's the earliest you would be
earliest,
yeah. And that would be, for me, at Virginia. That's when I'd be like, okay, you're 2-2. You've played 2 decent teams with a pulse, and you lost to them both. I have no confidence.
I'll wait till October, Corey. I'll give him some more leeway.
All right, okay.
Let's stay in the football lane, Corey. Let's go to our guy, Big Steve 022. Good morning, gents. Hope all is well. It's been a while, but I still listen every chance I get. Happy late anniversary, Mr. Clark.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Also extremely happy to hear things are going well for you and Abby Aslan. Thank you, Big Steve. Hope your boy's doing well, too. I think he might be a young adult now at this point. We've been doing the show for so many years, Corey.
That's right, man. That's right.
A couple of weeks ago, there was a topic on ESPN. What are you doing watching ESPN, Big Steve-O?
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be watching CBS Sports. CBS Sports Network.
A couple weeks ago on ESPN topic, who is the next face of the NBA? And it got me thinking, who is the face of Florida State sports? Easy answer to me is Bobby Bowden, even Deion Sanders, maybe. Since those are probably the obvious choices, I was wondering who you all think is the face of the major FSU sports, men's, women's basketball, softball, baseball, football. With the landscape of college sports changing so often via the transfer portal, I don't believe anyone in recent memory will have a chance to be the face. But could I be wrong? This is a very good topic of conversation. Dare I say, Corey, I think it's going to be generating discussion, and it's going to be sparked by Cummins. If you would, Corey Clark. Get some, everybody. It's generating discussion.
I guess if you're listening to this on the podcast, you don't know what just happened.
It's generating discussion. It's sparked by Cummins. Check out all the awesome things you can do with the own and line of products. That includes the portable generators, the portable power stations, by going to Cummins Lifestyle on Instagram. It's all one word. I should actually have this photo pulled up, but I don't. Dude, by the way, everybody, they're actually giving you a portable power station as part of the monthly gift bag giveaway. There's a photo of all the cool things they're giving you. I don't have it readily available. Maybe I'll have it in post-production. Post-production is a beautiful thing, Corey. You can fix all the ills of the world with post-production. Go to Cummins Lifestyle, everybody. All right, so that's a question, Corey. The face of Florida State sports. I don't want to go maybe too macro on this, but I do wonder if there is like a college sports bubble, and not so much TV contracts, but just the amount of give a damn kids are going to have about college football the way that you and I did X amount of years ago. We don't have to date ourselves, but like when it's going to get to the point that it's such a transient nature of the sport, coaches included, and the fact that tuition costs however much it costs right now is going to continue to go up, you find yourself in a position where it's like, all right, I went to this school for 4 years. I had maybe 3 different quarterbacks the 4 years I was there and 2 different head coaches, and I've got all this debt. And yeah, I don't know if we're competing at the highest levels right now with our NIL. Like, you might even start tuning this stuff out. So it feels like the concept of a face of your program, your sports athletic department is totally gone. And you're always going to be remembered as like, the Bobby Bowden program almost.
Yeah, and to the question, I would say Bobby Bowden. When people think of Florida State athletics, Bobby Bowden, I think, would be the first name that comes to people's mind. I don't want to get into the same discussion we just had about, the national champion, who the 5 best coaches are, the top 5 coaches. But I would say, Bobby Bowden, it's going to be hard to move him off the list with this premise. If Big Steve is saying that Bobby Bowden is the guy for him, it's hard to move him off this list. I think it's impossible to move him off this list unless, like I guess Saban knocked Bear Bryant off. So that's what it's going to take? Is Norvell going to have to be like Saban-esque to knock Bobby Bowden off the list? Because I think that's about the only way. Otherwise, I think in perpetuity, it's going to be Bobby Bowden. And a lot of it's because what Aslan was just saying, there's just the turnover, coaching turnover. Florida State got really lucky, man. Sue Simrau was here for 20 years. Leonard Hamilton, 23. Bobby Bowden, what was it, 40? 30, what was it? Yeah, like 33, 35. Mike Martin, 40. Like all your big sports, you've had coaches that have been here for decades. So I would say all those are the faces of those programs. But overall, I don't know who would be more important to Florida State athletics ever than Bobby Bowden. But if we're talking about right now, today, 2025, I mean, for better or worse, it's the head football coach.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's not the face of your program.
No.
To the second part of his question, which I don't have on the screen, but I read it out there, of course. I mean, when you think about, no one's going to unseat, I don't think, Charlie or Jameis. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Somebody could win a Heisman in a national championship, but I think the only one that still might be kind of up for grabs would be baseball, right? If you're the guy that helps propel this team to a college, its first ever College World Series, like you might be able to be the guy that will be the face, at least the player face of the baseball program. Otherwise, like softball, women's basketball, men's hoops. I guess if you're that guy, you take Florida State to a Final Four, maybe you can uproot that. But otherwise, like football feels like just with the way that the sport is and what's been accomplished here, like those guys are pretty much set in stone. It's going to be nearly impossible to dethrone those guys.
But I also think that's just the nature. That's always kind of been the nature of college sports. I think it's the coaches that are the known commodities because of the trade. I got to be a fan of Chipper Jones for 16 years. Well, in college, you get them for 4. And then they move on. They become NFL players or NBA players or Major League Baseball players. So, but at a place like Florida State, you get to be a fan of Bobby Bowden's program for 3.5 decades. So of course he becomes the program, and that's kind of sports. Like I think if you think about Florida basketball, Noah and Horford and those guys were great. I think you think of Billy Donovan, and maybe football's different because they had 2 guys win national championships. Or Urban, I don't know I think you'd probably still say Steve Spurrier. Yeah. But Urban Meyer had a highly successful run there. Oh yeah, it's Florida. They'd say Tebow. I'm surprised they haven't renamed the university after him yet. But yeah, most places, it's going to be the head coach of whatever your most successful program is. Like UConn, the face of UConn athletics right now is, I guess you could say Gino Auriemma, or you'd say Dan Hurley. Right. Those are the guys. Everybody else it's the transactional nature that Aslan was talking about. They come and go. These head coaches stay there. They have multiple teams and they win multiple championships. They become the face. I wonder if Link won in Omaha. I still don't think you usurp 40 years of Mike Martin because of one championship in Omaha. Like Florida State's taken care of. If Luke Loucks goes and makes 3 straight Final Fours, he becomes the face of Florida State basketball. But he's never going to pass Bobby Bowden. No. So I think Bobby Bowden's – you had it in the question, Steve, but Bobby Bowden's the answer.
What about the sports real quick, though, Corey? I mean, I can't imagine in the next 20 years anybody's going to – I mean, I guess you could join Jameis and Charlie and Winky. But is there a sport out there you think is most likely to possibly the most ripe to have a new face arise player-wise on the field that then becomes the face of that sport at Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Travis, you could say, was that guy, and that wasn't that long ago, and it was at that position. I don't think if Tommy Castellanos gets invited to New York because he has such a great season, he's a Heisman candidate. Yeah, man, he becomes the face. Like he's not gonna be on the par with, or he's not gonna pass Charlie and Jameis or Chris, but he can join them. His name doesn't start with a W though, so that's a bummer. Like I don't know why they don't just get portal guys with the last name that starts with W, because all they do is win Heisman's around here. Except for Drew Weatherford, we get it, but he still had an okay career. But yeah, so I think that the only sport I think that could happen. I mean, I guess it could happen in all of them, but football is the face, man. It's the face of the university. It's the face of the athletic department. It's the front door to the university. So if you're a big star for Florida State football, you're a big star, period. You're a big star, period. Jared Verse can't walk around College Town. He's a big deal. He's a big deal.
Thanks to Big Steve-022 for the question. You'll get entered into the monthly drawing for a Cummins gift bag, which will include a portable power station. Can't believe it. Check out Cummins Lifestyle. Join WarChant.com so you get involved in this segment so you can win cool things. Corey, deuces, please. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachie Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Get on over there as the Sweet 16 begins tonight. Is Florida and Maryland, are they a Thursday or Friday game?
I think Florida-Maryland's Thursday.
Okay. All right.
I think it's today. I'll look real quick. You keep talking.
Please, Kevin Willard, please, after all this junk you talk, please. Not that you really talk junk about Florida, but just, help us out over here.
Yeah, they're today. They play at the same time. BYU Alabama's the first tip at 7:09, and then 30 minutes later is Maryland Florida. Then you got Duke Arizona at 9:40, and then 20 minutes later you got Arkansas Texas Tech.
Man, what a time!
So, yeah, be good. And hey, I can tell you this much: at Corner Pocket, all those games will be on. So I'm just throwing that out there, along with baseball. It's opening day of baseball today.
Heck yeah! I don't even know the number on it. I know it's not the gambling ad, but whatever the BYU Bama number is, over. There you go. That's free.
Well, it's probably a
huge
right
number.
Now. It's probably a big number. Yeah, it's 175.5.
Woo.
So that's like 95 to 80.
Yeah.
That's tough.
What's not tough is figuring out what you want to do in Tallahassee, and that is having a fun time at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. 2475 Appalachie Parkway. Again, cptallybar.com, the website. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
And also, real quick, Aslan, before you wrap that up, the Jeff Cameron opening day Bonanza is at Corner Pocket today at 4 p.m. It was an annual tradition. I think it went away for a couple years, but it's back. It's like $2 hot dogs, $2 apple pie. You come to Corner Pocket for the opening day of baseball season, which is today, Major League Baseball season. You can watch Cam Smith. You can watch the Braves. You can watch the Mets if you want to. They'll all be on TV because Bill's got the MLB package, so you can watch whatever baseball game you want. And it's the opening day. Jeff Cameron will be there. Tom Lang will be there. I might be there for a few minutes watching the Bravos until I got to go listen to Norvell tell us some stuff about what happened at practice. So, yeah, but come to Corner Pocket starting at 4. That's when the Bonanza starts.
It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Real quick on the baseball opening. I don't want to get too far in the weeds here. I was listening to the Rosillo pod. He had Jeff Passan on. They threw some number out there. I don't know, like 300. The combined salary of the teams in the AL Central is like $500 million. What's going on in the sport right now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's less than Ohtani.
Yeah. He was saying Steph Curry almost makes as much as like the entire Marlins payroll.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say he does.
Or 1 year, like he makes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that'd be. I bet that's more than the Marlins payroll. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Anyhow, let's go back to hoops. That's what Random_John is here for. It is obviously the second weekend of the tournament. Speaking of comebacks, he was talking about his gym comeback. Right. I guess I'll believe you. How do you get to 737, though?
That's a real question. Maybe the weight machine is like 87 pounds or something, so you got to account for that.
Yeah.
That's a weird number, though. But, yeah, I know that thing by itself is some weight. Maybe it's 67 or 87 pounds.
With Luke back in Tallahassee and the comeback, I got a question after reading Matt Lasser's piece on portal targets. Random_John, added up the scoring averages from Britt Harris, Kobe McGee, Jakari White, and All Right.
How about that name, by the way?
That's incredible.
That kid's name is All Right. His brother's name, and this is no joke, so it's All Right, A-L-L. The last name is Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T. Yeah. His brother's name is Always.
Oh, my God.
Can you believe it? That's like back in the day. Remember Scientific Map? In Majestic Map, I think one of them might have played at FAM, but I think one of them played at Virginia.
Yeah,
they had Majestic Map and Scientific Map, because the last name was M-A-P-P. So I kind of like parents that do stuff like that. As long as your kid is a good athlete, you can get away with All Right and Always Right.
Yeah, I always think about Your Highness Morgan too when I was brought up. Big time recruit.
And who's the receiver that has that crazy name? He's in the NFL now. I think he was at Texas. What was his name? It's
I don't know. I can't.
I'll look it up.
Xavier Worthy?
No, it's a crazy name. It's something like Your Highness, but it's not. I'll figure it out. You go with the question.
Okay. He added up the scoring averages of all those guys, 58.5 points per game. In your opinion, is that enough scoring talent to win games in the ACC? If yes, what gives you confidence in that? If no, what do you expect Loucks to do to fill the gaps based on his portal activity so far? But I don't think no one's really committed anywhere. I know Elliot Cadeau entered the portal with a do not enter tag, but right now it just seems to be guys are entering the portal. There hasn't been a lot of people landing. So I don't know if we can really judge Luke's quote unquote portal activity. As far as NIL goes, why hasn't Luke tapped the Golden State Warriors owner to chip in a few Cummins generators to sweeten the deal in the transfer portal? Anyways, always love the insight and the energy. Keep pumping iron. Keep pumping content.
Well, that they're going to bring more than 4 guys in. Whether it's those 4 guys or different guys, if you add them all up or not. I mean, 4 guys averaging 60 points a game is pretty good, honestly. I don't know that you could do that with any of the 4 Florida State players. If you added their totals together, I don't know they'd be that high, the top 4 scorers. But also you don't know who's coming back. If it's David, if it's a Ewan, if it's, I don't know, somebody, it probably ain't going to be Chandler Jackson probably, just because he can't shoot, sadly. But good Noel, played hard-ish for his years here, but just, I don't think he's a good enough shooter to be. And that's no inside knowledge. Luke hadn't told me that at all. But he's also in the portal. But, yeah, we don't know. We don't have – I trust – here's what I trust with Loucks. I trust that he knows the right people to try to go get. What I don't trust is their ability to go get them. Because why would I right now? There's no proof at all. He has not signed one player in his coaching career. So until we start seeing some guys committing, I'm going to hold reservations on what he can and can't do and what kind of job he's doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many environmental challenges, right? Nobody can just overcome that with just pure charisma. But we'll see. Have you found out this receiver's name yet?
No. Go ahead. Keep going.
All right. Well, I think we're done with that question then, right?
Yeah, unless you had something to add.
No, that's all. Let's move it forward. Let's get back to football. Ruthless_gaze. Revisionist history question. Do you think if the expanded college football playoff was created instead of the BCS, whatever year that was, 97?
90, the Bowl Alliance was like 96 maybe. And then when was Florida State Virginia Tech was 99? I think so, right around
season.
Then, yeah.
98 season. Yeah, because it was Tennessee, Florida State first ever won.
There you go.
If the expanded CFP, so if we went to 12 teams in 1998 instead of just 2 teams based on computers, would this sport be in a better spot right now? My take, Ruthless_gaze, is that the conferences were more balanced then, which would have led to more balanced access from the start, and not the power the SEC and the Big Ten have now over the setup and revenue split. I just don't. I mean, but from 98 to 2008, how many ACC teams were making the playoff, though?
I think the point is, though, plenty. I mean, not plenty, but like Virginia Tech would have made it a few years.
Would we have made it?
When?
Well, obviously from 98, but like
2003.
Post-Richt. Yeah, 2003. You're right.
They would have made it. Miami would have made it. Well, Miami wasn't in the ACC then yet.
Yeah.
But Virginia Tech would have made it a few years. Boston College would have made it that one year. Maybe Wake makes it in 2006. So the point being, we got so used to not only the SEC like winning championships, but playing each other. That perception, that was a reality. The SEC was the best conference, but it wasn't by leaps and bounds above these other conferences, especially back then. I think maybe that perception gets lessened if there's 12 teams in these playoffs every year. And Texas is struggling to beat a kind of pedestrian Clemson team. Okay, maybe the Texas isn't as good. There would have been more fuel for. Instead, they got to beat up. It seemed like they got to beat up on Ohio State every year. Back before Ohio State got this good, I know LSU beat them once or twice. I think twice. Florida beat them. Not even a great Florida team beat them for national championship. So yeah, I just think that it would have probably helped. The SEC still would be the best conference, but they would have had to earn it more, man. My opinion is they would have had to earn it more. Like even going back to 2007. Like 2007, Virginia Tech, Georgia, LSU all had the same record. I think they all had 2 losses. LSU got to go. Even though LSU lost one of their last games of the season in triple overtime, their perception was they were so loaded with talent, they get to go deserve and play for a national championship. Well, they might have lost their first playoff game, but we'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, that season, your BCS Bowls, SC was number 7, Illinois was 13th, West Virginia was 9th, Virginia Tech was 3rd. So yeah, Kansas was 8th. Yeah, was Mangino? Was that his name? Our guy, Mark Mangino.
Yeah,
big dog. Yeah. 2009, Georgia Tech won the ACC.
Oh yeah, buddy. They had
was it Demarius Thomas or was that Calvin Johnson?
That was Demarius Thompson. That was Paul Johnson. And they also won in 2014, right?
Well, they went to they won the Orange Bowl that year.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, but they would have been in the playoff.
Yeah, true.
So, and again, they went that year, so that would have been a playoff game that year. That Orange Bowl that year would have been Georgia Tech versus Mississippi State. And Georgia Tech beat them, and that was back when when players played in bowl games. Dak played.
Yep.
Who was it? Nesbitt? I can't remember who their quarterback was back then. I don't think it was Nesbitt. He might have been the 2009 team. But anyway, that's what I'm talking about. That perception would have allowed. You would have seen. The SEC's good, but just like we saw these last 2 years, they're not unbeatable. They're not unbeatable. There are other teams that can compete. They just don't get the airtime. I can't believe I can't.
Justin Thomas.
No, I'm talking about this.
Texas wide receiver?
Yeah, maybe he didn't go to Texas. I don't know, but he had a crazy name, and I can't find it.
Was it Sincere?
No.
You're not thinking of like the St. Brown guy, right?
Found it.
Equinamius St. Brown. Oh, go ahead.
Lil Jordan Humphrey.
Really? Lil Jordan Humphrey? Okay.
Lil Jordan. LIL' Jordan. That was his first name. Last name Humphrey.
And is that on his W-2?
I guess. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, Wikipedia's got him. Yes, that's what. If Wikipedia says it, we're rolling with it. Good for him. Look at that! Wow, 2018, he had almost 1,200 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Yeah, man, he could play a little bit.
Good for
he
him.
can play. All right, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Because nobody would ever say Humphrey with the catch. They would say there's a post to Humphreys got it to the 22. They would always feel the need to say his first name, Lil Jordan Humphrey, every time.
Yeah. What if he was going to end? Well, he's 6'4", 225. That's they really called the shot on that one. I mean, what if it ended up being like 5'9"? Then it would have been like, I guess it still would have fit. It would have been apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, I guess, though, Corey, right? Because we ended up getting into that gross cycle of seemingly SEC team versus SEC team, or really outmatched team that kind of snuck in there that didn't deserve maybe access, and at least with 12 teams.
SEC the SEC team that got to play for it never got penalized for their losses.
Yeah.
They were good losses, right? The other teams couldn't really afford a bad loss, but there's no such thing as a bad loss in the SEC. It just shows you the depth of the SEC, and that was a cycle for over a decade. It was 15 years. It started with Saban in 2003 when he beat he did beat the brakes. Him and Jimbo beat the brakes off Oklahoma in that national championship game. And from that moment on, it was all about the SEC. Well, I shouldn't say that because Auburn was undefeated that one year and didn't even get to play for it.
Can you believe that, kids?
How about that? We lived in that was 2 decades ago. We lived in a world where there was an undefeated SEC team that didn't even get to play for the championship.
And that head coach is now a U.S. senator.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Best place in the world, America.
Yep.
I love it. Love it. I love it even more when I got my work boots on, my Brunt work boots that bring all the benefits of work boots. That is being waterproof, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, and also electrical hazard rated. But the comfort, I'm going to say style. I don't know if they want me to really be here pumping the style of their work boot, Brunt, but gosh darn it, you made a really good looking work boot. You can check it out for yourselves over at bruntworkwear.com. Use the promo code WAKEUP. You'll get $10 off. $10 off your order, again, by going to bruntworkwear.com. Corey, are you gonna wear your boots to the dinner I'm taking you and your wife out to?
Tonight, Wednesday night, you took us out to a great dinner. I'm saying that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
A lot of pressure.
But no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to wear like a bit fancier. Well, you know what? No, Aslan, great point. Because I can't I?
Yeah, man.
That's the beauty of these things.
Yeah.
I'm not just going to wear them when I'm climbing a utility pole,
right?
As I'm apt to do, or I'm up on the roof of Moore doing some construction.
Good Lord.
Like we saw those guys the other night after the press conference. No, I can take them to a fancy restaurant with my lady, and that's
right.
exactly what I'm going to do. Well, great point, Aslan. Great point.
Bruntworkwear.com. Again, use the promo code WAKEUP to save $10 off your order.
I can wear them at the fancy dinner that we're going to, Aslan. I can wear them at Corner Pocket.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not versatile, gang. Tell me that's not versatile.
Last segment, but not of the week. We're doing a live show later tonight. Join us right on YouTube live, 7:45-ish. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe as well to the YouTube page. I need to start shouting out more of these YouTube members-only people that keep joining the flock.
Yeah, man.
It's awesome. It's like $5 a month, and you get access to like the X's and O's with D-Rob and Tom Lang. You get that Seminole Headlines bonus segment. You get like special emojis that you can use. Some people care about that stuff. I'm not saying that's worth it all, but some people really do like that kind of stuff. Or you could join warchant.com for $52 a year, which is less than $5 a month, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, good math, Aslan. It's $8 less than $5 a month. Shout
out to Jamel K1, one of our newest members of the warchant.com members only on YouTube. Join the live show. Give us a question, Jamel. That'd be cool to see.
Yeah, Jamel, nice.
Involved.
Welcome, my man. Welcome.
This is a long one. Buckle up. Whack169. Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Nothing serious today. Just heard headlines, and I heard Corey talk about Kelly Elliott. I have got to hear what the heck happened here. All caps, 6 question marks. Do not give me BS about not being able to share the story. Too many people do that on radio shows. And it's irritating and frustrating me. You start to tell a story, tell the whole damn story. Is this her? I found her by Googling. She's apparently worked in a position at the athletics department at Florida State. Mm-hmm. Do you want to?
She was. Look, there's nothing really to tell. There's not like one or two stories. She was Randy Spetman hire. She was the associate athletic director. That. I don't. It's not like there's one or two stories. I'm not trying to be rude. I don't know what she's done since. You could probably look her up, I guess. I don't know what she's doing now. I don't think that I don't think she was a good fit. Let's just put it that way. But I don't want to tell stories like she was mean to me or rude to me. You hear from people that worked under her or with her that said it wasn't all that glorious. But I don't want to out them because it's Florida State and everybody works here for 40 years. So it's not like they've left and I could tell, she told the golf coach this. The golf coach is still here. The basketball coach just left, but I don't think they had any issues. So it was Kelly Elliott and then it was Allison Rich right after her. I don't know. I don't even know why I brought up Allison Rich. I brought up Kelly Elliott because she got mad that's one story. She got mad that I was invited on the they got a seat for me when Florida State's basketball team played at Boise in the NCAA tournament in 2009. Their first time in a decade they went there. As I'm not a great flyer, getting from Tallahassee to Boise was going to be 7 flights. Maybe 13, I don't know. I asked Jacob Ridenauer. I always thought it was Ridenauer.
So did I.
Yeah, no, I heard Jeff Culhane when he was doing one of the broadcasts earlier this year call him Ridenauer.
Oh,
and then I was like, man, Culhane, get it right. And then I saw Jacob. He's working with you, Jeff. And then I saw Jacob. I'm like, hey, man, is your last name really Ridenauer? And he goes, yeah. I go, I've only been mispronouncing it for 15 years. But anyway, I asked him, because he was the director of basketball ops, hey, could I get a seat on that plane? We'll pay for it. The Tallahassee Democrat will pay for it. But it's one flight. It's a direct flight instead, and you have seats available. So anyway, she found that out, and she lost her mind. Basically saying now we have to offer seats to all the press to get on the plane. And it's like, yeah, great. Don't you want people covering your effing team? And you make it easy for them. You're getting money. Those seats are going empty anyway, so the Florida State is actually making money by these media outlets paying you to be on their team flight. But she got very upset with that. Apparently, I heard this through other people, not Jacob, by the way. But there were other things. She got into it with Steve Ellis one time, the late Steve Ellis, R.I.P. Saw that firsthand. Just things like that didn't rub people the right way. And she wasn't here very long, which should tell you all you need to know about the job she was doing.
According to LinkedIn, 2 years here, then she moved on to Yale. Executive Director of University Conference and Events. Then a year at Cal Berkeley as COO.
Okay.
Then she went to UTSA to become their Assistant VP of Intercollegiate Athletics, Deputy Athletics Director. 3 years in San Antonio. She now is currently the Chief Executive Officer at Teen Esteem Plus. She's been there for over 2 years.
Okay. So she didn't become the
Collegiate
director
athletics,
of the NCAA.
Yeah, collegiate athletics apparently not the final destination for Ms. Elliott.
But yeah, so that's the story with Kelly Elliott. That was way too much on Kelly Elliott. Literally nobody knows her name. I hope she's had a great career. I can tell you this: she makes a heck of a lot more money than I do. Listen to that. I wonder what she got paid at Yale. She did all right for herself, so nobody should feel sorry for her.
Whack169 also goes on to say, "Tell Gene that you're a rock star." And that you don't want to look back in anger because you and I aren't going to live forever, and you must be at the Oasis show in August in Chicago because, 1, it may not ever happen again, and 2, I'll be there with my wife and 13-year-old.
So the question right back is, do you have to be in Tallahassee the next day? Because I do, because it's Alabama, and that's priority. But also the bigger issue is Stephanie with her daughter moving into college. So I don't have – it was going to be me and Stephanie, but she can't go that weekend, as we found out, because that's Eva's move-in week. And she's going to be up there to see her daughter off to college and doesn't want to miss that for Oasis. But I 100% agree. They might not even play that show. They might already be broken up by then, and it's really devastating that I can't go or won't go, and that the closest they play is Chicago. The other one is Newark and Toronto and L.A. So maybe they'll come back and do a real U.S. tour next year.
Wax said FSU, he doesn't like their odds against Alabama, so you being there isn't going to add any pageantry or alleviate any anger about what happened on the field, no matter how well you write.
Okay.
In closing, tell Gene that today is going to be the day that you throw it back to him, and that by now he should have somehow realized what he's got to do.
Is this Dave from Bardstown?
I don't know. Where is Dave? Dave,
I was going to say, this is a pseudonym. This is a Dave from Bardstown post. God bless him.
And that if he doesn't let you go, then I don't know how anyone will ever feel the way about him now.
Yep. Those were Oasis lyrics, Aslan.
I try to read them in the syncopation cadence of Liam. Is it Liam or Noel that sings that one? Liam?
2 days, that's Liam.
Okay.
Yeah,
bye.
But Noel sings. I think he sings "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, young kids, go listen to those first 2 Oasis albums. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
They were the biggest band in the world. God bless them.
Last one of the mailbag. Blue Knoll. Buenos dias from Miami. As much as I'm loving our baseball team right now, I'm wondering how far the bullpen outside of the weekend starting rotation can take us. That would be the bullpen. I find myself biting my nails whenever we need strikes in pressure situations, as well as getting frustrated with the amount of walks we seem to give it inopportune times. Do you think Link is still figuring out the right levers to pull when it comes to going past the starters into the later innings? And do you think we can win it all with the relievers we have? Blue Noel.
Yes, because they were, I guess I shouldn't say this, but they were darn close. They were a check swing away from being in a real good position to win it all last year. Now it's Florida State. There's no guarantee that they wouldn't have lost the next two just because it's Florida State and Omaha. But that was by far the best team in the country that they played, and they had a lead with one strike left. And got the kid, I thought, to swing at the pitch.
Yep.
And that was not as good a bullpen as this one, in my opinion. You did not have Martinez. You did not have Prescott. I think Joe Charles is better. That was hopefully what happened on Tuesday was a really big step for John Abraham because he's been up and down, but I think he's an arm you'd like to have. And, I mean, he's mid-90s with some kind of nasty off-speed stuff. You'd think that would play. I think you can win it with this bullpen. You can't afford any more starting injuries to your starting pitchers. This trio is good enough to win every series you play. And then, by the way, Jamie Arnold is the new 1-1 in Baseball America's mock draft.
I thought somebody else already had him. I thought at 1-1.
Maybe D1 or Perfect Game, but Baseball America just released theirs on Wednesday, and Jamie Arnold was was mocked as the first pick in the draft. When you have that, and he can shake off the bad outing from Coral Gables and look like himself during the May and June, man, you got it. What do you got to get for a regional, Aslan? You got to get 81 outs. And then in a super regional, you got to get 54 outs. You're starting pitching. There aren't many teams I think that have this level of starting pitching. Now they're not all Americans. Mendez, we still don't quite know what Mendez is. Bellini was awesome, but you don't know. But I think these three guys, coupled with Charles, Prescott, Martinez, Kinnear.
Yeah, man, Kinnear did some stuff.
Kinnear, he blew the save against Florida, but I don't know that. I mean, I guess he did walk the leadoff guy on a 3-2 pitch. That was a bummer. And so you've got guys that I think have proven they can, especially like Prescott. Let's see what that is. But Prescott and Martinez have been your two best guys, I think, most dependable. But Charles and Abraham and Kinnear have all had their moments where they looked really good. So it's all about pushing the right button at the right time, but you've got options, which is good. It's not like Brennan Oxford and just pray. You've got real options. Or Andrew Armstrong and pray. You've got guys that I think are legitimate draft picks all up and down that pitching staff. And then you've also got guys like Connor Holtz, who has been just a non-factor this year. Hudson Rowan, what's he going to be? Ben Barrett.
Yeah.
What's he ever going to be?
Good point.
Is Evan Crest ever – do we have an update on that kid? Is he coming back?
I don't – Link said he's got a long road ahead of him. That makes me think that he's probably out for the year. That's just me speculating, but we don't have a concrete update, but I don't see him coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, so that's a real bummer because that guy, in a postseason format, he could be a guy that gives you three innings in relief. Yeah. And so even if he was your number 4 starter, so that's a bummer. But, I think to answer the question, yes, I do think they have enough pitching. Every college team, after their 2 or 3 best relievers, it's always a crapshoot. Right. But Florida State's crapshoot is better than most. They got the guys that you wonder about or worry about. A lot of them throw mid-90s and have nasty stuff. It's just a matter of if they're dialed in that day.
Well said, Corey.
Thanks, buddy.
Hopefully you got more of that for the live show later tonight.
I wonder what Lodice is like in these mocks. Is he like flying up the charts?
I don't know. I don't have access to this stuff. I don't have the subscriptions.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just baseball. I mean, let's see if Baseball America's got something here. Exclusive content. And I'm not exclusive enough to be behind it.
No, you're not.
There's a couple websites that apparently have him like in the top 200. But that was 2 days ago before he hit the home run.
Yeah, before he hit. So there was a question on the message board, and we'll leave after. I know we got to go. It was what was more rare, the McDougal 6-home run game or the greater accomplishment? I don't know exactly how it was phrased. The McDougal 6-home run game or a cycle where you get your home run on a walk-off grand slam. Because apparently it's never happened in Major League Baseball history, a walk-off grand slam for the cycle.
I thought Nolan Arenado did it.
No, I think that was a 3-run homer.
Okay.
And also, nobody's ever hit 6 home runs in a game in the major leagues. But I would say the difference, and I still think McDougal's is just more jaw-dropping. Yeah. It's just a stunning thing to read. When you look at a box score where a guy went 7 for 7 with 6 home runs and 16 RBIs in one game, it's just insanity. That'll never be topped. It is an all-time unbelievable moment. There have been guys that have hit for the cycle. I don't know that there's ever been a guy that's hit for the cycle where the home run came on a walk-off grand slam against their arch rival in front of 8,000 or 10,000 people. Like, that was a historical moment. Like, it's not McDougal where it'll go down in history and it'll be like Alex Lodis Day, or maybe it will. I don't know, but I think that it's really memorable. That's something we'll always kind of remember, right? A guy hitting a grand slam for the cycle to walk off the Gators. That's that's crazy. So, Florida State, they always have a knack for doing
the dramatic.
Like Jamie Arnold with the immaculate inning last year. They just do stuff you don't see a lot of.
That's right. It's good to be a Nole, and it's best enjoyed as being a member of warchant.com. Spring sale going on. 1 year full access premium, $52. And you'll get a $20 gift card to Garnet and Gold. What are you waiting for? Head over there. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. We'll see you on the live show later tonight. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy.